What's up, guys? Jeff here with Grit City Fitness and Performance, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about cooking. And one of the most common questions I get after I prescribe someone a meal plan or nutrition protocol is, what do I do with this, and how do I utilize it? How do I make food for myself that's going to be on track with what I need? How am I going to make good food that's not just chicken and broccoli and rice every day? And how can I give myself some variety and enjoyment into this process? Well, a couple of these resources are, these are cookbooks that I recommend. And now I've got probably an additional 20 or 30 in my office. However, these are the top 5 that I really, really like, and I get the most bang for buck from, and I enjoy the most of the food from it. So let me start with the first one. What the fuck should I make for dinner? This is a really, really good one. It gives a lot of very kind of, I would say, elevated nutrition. Okay, when I say elevated nutrition, we can look at something like this, and this says, it's not cute when kids say spaghetti. So sorry, I'm reading it backwards. So teach them, or spaghetti, so teach them to say, make, and eat some fucking bucati with tomato, mozzarella, and basil, right? So I really like this because it's got a little bit of a humor involved in it. Also, what you might notice, it's got the full breakdown of how to cook and whatnot. But also, as you go through this, let's say you really kind of like this but want to try something different. At the bottom, it's got some different options and different pages. So it says, you know, this has a lot of swearing in it, but it says don't fucking like it, turn to page 32 for something that's a little bit different. Not a vegetarian, turn to this page. You know, there's this one called, so something like grilled skirt steak with chimichurri, right? So awesome ingredients, awesome kind of elevated cooking here. I really like it, and again, I like the fact that it's got a little humor, a little swearing, and also gives you some options for other alternatives that are like it or not like it based on what you prefer. Cookbook number 2 is, I'm going to say this is a 2-part book, even though these are 2 different books. I'm going to consider them one. Thug Kitchen and Thug Kitchen Party Grub. Now, I really like these cookbooks. They're very, very, again, elevated. They're taking very basic ingredients and making them really, really awesome, right? Really turning into nice, enjoyable, pleasant food to eat. Things that, even though you might be on a diet, you might have less calories, or you might just, you know, have to eat some more veggies. These 2 resources are huge and awesome. They're packed full of awesome food and choices that you can make. This one's a little bit more detailed, I would say. A little bit more pictures involved in this one. The only downside I have to Thug Kitchen and Thug Kitchen Party Grub is they are both a vegetarian cookbook. So the only thing I would say when utilizing these is throw some protein in, do something else a little bit different with, you know, do things from these cookbooks, but add some meat and protein to them. You know, just on the cover right here, those look like some delicious ass tacos. So the food in this is really, really, again, elevated. It's kind of tasty, delicious food that's easy to make, and it's all vegetarian. So that's a guaranteed way of increasing your vegetables, your nutrients that way. I'm gonna save this one for last. This one is called the Carb Lovers Diet Cookbook. I got this one for Christmas from my mom, and actually this is a really good one that I enjoy because, I mean, who doesn't love carbs, right? Breads, pastas, noodles, all that kind of stuff. This is a cookbook that allows you to utilize those ingredients, but still keeps a very, very good nutritional breakdown. The thing I really like about this one, hopefully you guys see that, this one tells how long it takes to make, how long prep time is, total cook time, total amount of servings. This one also tells you some of the serving sizes calorie-wise. So this one is going to be more based on what would be a true diet book. The reason I say that is because if you might not have seen it based on my video, but the other books don't actually give you a complete breakdown of proteins, fats, carb, macronutrient breakdown, total calories, and serving size. These just are really, really awesome, elevated, good, healthy ingredient books. That's why these are what I recommend. The Carb Lover's Diet book, awesome way to utilize carbs. Awesome, breakdown of food, some pictures, all kinds of stuff in here. Protein dishes, carb dishes, all kinds of stuff in that one. And my final book, which I used to actually give out to a lot of our new members, is The 4-Hour Chef. Now, the reason I like The 4-Hour Chef is because if you've ever read anything by Tim Ferriss, it's more of a resource guide and an educational tool. With that being said, what that means is this is a cookbook that I would get for myself if I was just trying to learn how to cook. I would also get this if I was someone who wanted to take my cooking to the next level. Let me explain a little bit more. One of the things about Tim Ferriss is he's all about hacking. And when I say hacking, that means trying to find ways to learn tools, techniques, and tricks that top performers in any field or industry use or do to make their life better or simpler. So with that, this book is broken down into basically a learning guide to learn anything when it comes to cooking. This book has, pretty much everything you could need to take a basic level or non-ability to cook and really, really elevate it to some really awesome cooking and utilizing ingredients that is sometimes challenging or sometimes easy and really making it stand out and just be great. I like it because it's got a learning section in the beginning, so how to utilize tools, pans, cooking, all that kind of stuff. It teaches you ways to understand it as well as ways to learn it better. It also does a good job of deconstructing a lot of the concepts and making it ways that you guys can utilize it in other realms or fashions. From there, something I really like, so this is what I was kind of talking about, it shows you ways to actually cook, right? It shows you ways to actually prepare ingredients, how to cut, how to measure, how to, shred things. And basically, it takes you all the way from home cooking to slaughtering your own pig or chicken and cooking it right by a fire, which is really cool. This is just a boiled egg upgrade. Basically, this is just showing ways of how you can change the way you boil your egg based on a certain amount of times. So some other stuff, like using proteins in unusual ways. So this is definitely an elevated way of cooking, but very, very simple and easy. This is, it's cool because it also shows you ways to go and trap and hunt and forage for your own food and ingredients. So this is how to, this is how to catch rabbits, so snaring. Then, we've got some other things like, just regular classics. How to cook chicken. Okay, do it a different way. So this is one of my true go-tos. This is one of my educational tools that I would recommend to anybody, no matter what your skill level in cooking, go get. From there, tons of valuable information just in the sense of how to cook, how to prepare, how to forage, how to do all that kind of stuff, how to understand food in general. From there, also just tons of valuable ingredients. From there, depending on where you're kind of stuck at in your life when it comes to nutrition, would be then moving to either What Should I Have for Dinner or the Carb Lover's Cookbook. From there, utilizing Thug Kitchen. This is Party Grub, so this is going to be more things for, groups, but you can obviously cut it down a little bit. But these are things, like pad thai rolls. So different, unique kind of cooking, fresh tomato and basil pasta or pizza. That sounds pretty good, right? So Thug Kitchen is definitely that next valuable resource that I'd recommend picking up for yourself. And, again, remember with Thug Kitchen, that is a vegetarian cookbook. The other three are utilizing meats, carbohydrates, and fats. So they're a well-rounded cookbook. But again, my first resource I'd recommend picking up, check this out. then going into Carb Lovers Cookbook, or what the fuck should I do for dinner, followed up by Thug Kitchen and Thug Kitchen Party Grub. These are my top 5. Again, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I probably got an additional 20 or so cookbooks up in my office. They're not downstairs. These are the ones that I actually have on my counter in my kitchen to use when I cook. If you have any questions, guys, let me know. But these are what I definitely recommend picking up or stopping at, Barnes & Nobles and checking out a little bit more in depth, seeing if it's a right fit for you, seeing if they have the information that you're going to want and use. But these have some awesome healthy ingredient recipes and cookbooks. Great tools, great resources to just have in general. I definitely recommend checking these out or getting them for yourself. Again, if you guys have any questions or anything like that, let me know. But hopefully this gives you a good starting point on what resources to go pick up to get yourself on the right foot for cooking, and as well as changing up some of your ingredients or even just changing up your food plan so you're not just stuck with the basic old chicken and broccoli and rice to stay healthy, but you have some. Actually, in this case, I have a ton of resources to utilize to find some healthy alternatives, to change up and spice up and really elevate some of my cooking to make it much better and much more enjoyable. Have fun, guys. Hopefully this gets you guys started and you guys can really rock and roll with some nutrition.